Hi everyone, so I'm going to go over assignment B with you. This you can also do yourself if you go to the assignment guidelines tab in Blackboard and find assignment B. There you'll find a couple of documents, but one in particular called guidelines, and this will give you the sort of summary of what assignment B is and what it requires from you. So assignment B is the project where I want you to apply your knowledge of morphology, syntax, and semantics. And the way you're going to apply it is by using that knowledge to analyze a written language sample from an English language learner. So the way that you're going to do this is by filling out a document in a very similar fashion as you did for assignment A. So I provide you with a template, which I'll go over a little bit later. And you're just going to basically go through and complete the template following the directions in each section. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is type out the transcript of the written language sample that you've gotten. You can either do that, type it out, or you can select it as a picture and paste it into the section that I ask you to put it in. Okay. Remember, if you do type out the transcript, you don't want to change any of the errors that the student may have made when writing it out. So let's say that they spelled something wrong. You want to maintain that incorrect spelling for purposes of the assignment. So in part A, you're going to see that the document is broken up into 3 sections: morphology, syntax, and semantics. Each section has part A and part B. Part A, I ask you to find 5 accomplishments and 3 challenges having to do with that subsystem. Okay, and then I ask you to give a little description of why that is an accomplishment or why that is a challenge. Remember that you're completing this assignment independently. So you've been given a written language sample, which you can find under assignment B in that assignment guidelines tab. The document is called assigned written sample. So you can click on that document and you'll see that you've been given the heading of an actual written language sample, which is then available for you in assignment B. In part B, what you're going to do is choose one challenge that you've selected in part A and fill out a little bit more information about this challenge. So specifically, I ask you to give me the English language rule that was broken. And you can use your Parrot textbook to do that. That is that blue book that you've been using for assignment C. And I ask you to provide a citation for that. Okay. Then I ask you to tell me if you think the error is first language transfer or second language development. And then I ask you to justify that, provide an explanation, and provide citations. Remember that the length and formatting all have to do with the template. So as long as you fill out the template and you provide generous answers to each of the sections that I'm asking, you should do quite well. This assignment is worth 30 points or 30% of your grade. Remember that it is completed independently. I also provide you with a rubric here that lists very specifically what I'm looking for. You do want to aim for 3 points in each section. Okay, if you scroll down a little bit further in your assignment B guidelines, you'll see that I've also listed a table to help you find research that supports your choice of the type of error. So remember, there are 2 choices. There's first language transfer, which means that the student has taken some sort of grammar rule that applies in the first language, and they've applied it to learning English, right? So they've applied it to English. And unfortunately, that grammar rule doesn't really work in English. So that's where the error comes from. But you see that they're actually trying to be strategic in applying their knowledge from the first language to the second language. So here you would, if you believe that that's the case in the error that you've chosen, you would choose one of these theories, which are all supportive of that transfer idea. And you can read some of these references, which are listed in the right-hand side, in Blackboard. So in Blackboard, you'll see various zipped folders that have articles or excerpts from textbooks that I've listed here, which you can read and use as references for example, Solinka's interlanguage theory. Same thing to do with second language development here. So remember, second language development is when you see that the student has made an error, but the error does not come from a transfer from the first language. So, for example, if the student was supposed to write tables with an S, but left out the S, you'll note that that is not a first language transfer error, because in Spanish, for example, to pluralize nouns, we also use S, right? We add that bound inflectional suffix S for number, okay? So that would not be a first language transfer error. That's sort of naturally a second language development error, an error that happens when, when the student is learning another language. They have to keep a lot in mind in all of the constructions that they're trying to apply. And so in doing that, they may have left out and unintentionally the S, right? But it definitely doesn't come from applications of the rules from the first language. So if you believe your error is that type of error, you would come to this table. You'll see that the theories are listed on the left-hand side with a description in the middle. And then the references that you can use to support your explanation of that theory are listed on the right-hand side. Remember that you can find each of those excerpts, right, the articles or the textbook excerpts of these references in Blackboard for you. These are also some other articles and books that I've found that you can find at the library. Okay, so I'm going to go over the template in a little bit, and hopefully that will help you understand the assignment a little more.